Hey everyone, this is Marquise with Smart Money Moves, back with another video. I hope you're all doing well. For those that live in New England, I hope that you are enjoying the snow and this weather that we're having. I personally do not enjoy all of the snow, but I'm sure there's someone out there that is enjoying the snow. I thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. In this video, I'll be talking about huge Bitcoin adoption as Arizona may be the first state to allow Bitcoin as legal tender, bullish price action news for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the metaverse crypto Sandbox partnering with Snoop Dogg and a music label. So let's jump right into it. Let's have a look at these prices. So at the moment, Bitcoin is currently sitting at $38,075, up 0.9%. Ethereum is at $2,596, up 2.8%. Binance Coin is at $389, up 1.5%. Cardano is at $1.06, up 1.6%. Solana is at $95, up 5%. XRP is at 61 cents, up 1.6%. Terra is at $51, up 2.6%. And Polkadot is at $18.69, up 2.5%. So at the moment, we can see that there is some green in the market. Bitcoin is up a little bit, and so is the other altcoins as well. Over the last week, Bitcoin has been doing nicely. It's up for the week 4.3%. So it's nice to see that it's getting closer to 40,000 again, as opposed to when it was in the low 30,000. So that's really nice to see. We'll see where Bitcoin ultimately goes in the next few days. But as of right now, there is some life in the market. Let's jump to our first news story here. So it says, just in, Bitcoin may soon be a legal tender in Arizona. Bitcoin may soon become a legally recognized currency in a state within the U.S. Wendy Rogers, an Arizona state senator, has proposed a bill to make Bitcoin legal tender within the state. The bill, if passed, will expand the state's definition of legal tender to include Bitcoin. Rogers has previously stated her commitment to making the state crypto-friendly. So we have here that a bill is, or a law is being put in place to make Bitcoin legal tender. So this is very, very bullish news. When I first heard this, I got so excited. Hopefully it goes through, but it's just great to see that we have states now trying to make Bitcoin legal tender. I didn't think that this would happen so early. Just last year, we got our first country make Bitcoin legal tender, and now states in the US are starting to make Bitcoin legal tender, or at least trying to put the bills through to make Bitcoin legal tender. Further down, it says, Arizona, a U.S. state best known for having more parks and national monuments than any other state, is considering making Bitcoin legal tender. The bill, which was introduced by Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers, seeks to amend the state's definition of legal tender to include Bitcoin. Arizona will be the first U.S. state to make Bitcoin legal tender. Should the amendment be passed into, should be passed into law in the state. The bill's proponent, Senator Rogers, has long been in support of making the state more crypto-friendly. She was appointed to the Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Study Committee last September. So like I said before, Arizona is making moves to try and have Bitcoin legal tender. Further down, it says Bitcoin may be penetrating more states in the U.S. However, several U.S. states have been showing more welcoming dispositions to Bitcoin. Texas, which currently recognizes Bitcoin legally, may also seriously consider making Bitcoin legal tender. A candidate for government of Texas, Don Huffines, I don't know if I said his last name correctly, has revealed that he wants to turn the state into a Bitcoin citadel by making Bitcoin legal tender if he is elected into office. Other states that may be eyeing the move include Florida and Wyoming. The governments of these states have been inviting crypto investors and Bitcoin miners to the state. So here we see that not only is Arizona the only state looking to do this, but we have Texas and Wyoming and Florida probably in line to do the same thing as well. And we even have politicians that are going into office saying what they want to do with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin overall is just good for business. It's good for politicians. I do think that politicians that are pro Bitcoin will probably have more people, especially young voters, vote for them. So hopefully, this guy actually does try and, if he's elected into office, he does follow through. But it's good for politicians. It's good for business. It's good for states. And yeah, this is huge adoption news. I have another article in regards to this as well. So Wendy Rogers, the district representative, she not only put in one law, but she or one bill that she would like to have passed into law, but there's a few others as well. It says here, Arizona's sixth legislative district representative, Wendy Rogers, has introduced a flurry of crypto-related bills in the past few weeks, including one that would add Bitcoin to the state's list of things defined as legal tender. Roger also introduced a bill that would allow the state government, as well as the governments of any county, city, town, and school district in Arizona, to pay employees in virtual currency if they request it. A third Rogers bill would ban any governmental body in the state from prohibiting people from using mutually agreed on mediums of exchange, including digital currencies. A fourth would ban cities and towns from imposing taxes or fees on the use of blockchain technology by any person or entity. And a fifth would exempt virtual currency from property taxes. So this is huge. Wendy Rogers is not playing. She's definitely a friend to crypto and to those that invest and hold it. So I definitely wish her and these bills that she's putting forth the best. It's funny. I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers last week regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. He knows that I'm a huge, I'm very pro Bitcoin, and I love the cryptocurrency space, and I invest in it. And we were talking about the country that made Bitcoin legal tender last year. And he was basically saying how he didn't see anywhere else where Bitcoin would become legal tender, and how Bitcoin's price was just so volatile that no one else would adopt it as legal tender, especially states within the US. And I do agree that as of right now, Bitcoin's price is still very volatile. I think in the future, we will, as Bitcoin continues to appreciate, because it absolutely will appreciate. It's a very scarce asset. I think eventually the price will settle down and not be as volatile as it is now. But it's just funny that he was saying that no other place, or especially states, would even dare to deem it as legal tender. And then literally a week later, there's news that we have our first state, Arizona, where there's bills that have been put into place to accept Bitcoin as legal tender. So I'm excited for Monday to share these articles with him and to talk to him about it. But yeah, so that wraps it up for this part of this part, and then we can jump to the next news story here. And I also have here basically hyper Bitcoinization and what that is. So I think that eventually we'll live in a world where we'll have hyper Bitcoinization. And for those that don't know what that is, hyper Bitcoinization is the inflection point at which Bitcoin becomes the default value system of the world. As more individuals and groups around the world realize the advantages of a borderless, censorship resistant, and natively digital system for transacting value, a critical mass of users will eventually fuel currency demonetization and the replacement of our world's ingrained financial institutions and world powers with a more equitable, publicly driven system. So that's a very, very complicated way of saying that everything would just be denominated in Bitcoin. So like you want to go buy a car, how much is that car? Oh, it costs 0.01 Bitcoin. Or like if you want to go buy a fruit or something like that at the store, it costs like 0.0001 Bitcoin. Or maybe it would be broken down into what's known as Satoshis. And for those that don't know, what Satoshis are they're basically like Bitcoin denominations, or Bitcoin broken down. So if you think of the US dollar, 100 pennies make up $1. In crypto, 100 million Satoshis make up one Bitcoin. So it's just breaking Bitcoin down. So we'll probably have in a hyper Bitcoinization world, we'll have things broken down into Satoshis or into Bitcoin. So I think that will be the future eventually. And I think that's, far, far away. Well, maybe not even that far now that we have states deeming or trying to make Bitcoin legal tender. But I think that's a world that we'll be living in sometime in the future. And why not? Because Bitcoin, like it says here, is it's a borderless, censorship-resistant currency. So borderless meaning you can live in one part of the world and send it to someone else in a matter of minutes, and with paying fees of close to no fees, like maybe you're paying a couple cents or something like that. So it's borderless, different places and people can transact with one another. So why wouldn't everything in the world eventually be denominated in Bitcoin? So I think we will see a hyper Bitcoinization world in the future. And yeah, try saying that word 5 times fast. It's very long, hyper Bitcoinization. But all right, let's jump to the next news article here. It says Celsius Network CEO predicts new all-time high for Ethereum, warns Bitcoin could crash before a massive rally. The CEO of centralized finance platform Celsius, Alex Mashinsky, is unveiling price predictions for the two largest crypto assets by market cap. Mashinsky says in the Kitco News interview that Bitcoin could fall by up to 20% from the current price before surging. So we have very strong support in that $29,000 to $33,000 range. This is the range we're at right now. We keep bouncing off of that range. So as of right now, we do know that Bitcoin is well above this, or not well above it, but it's above this range. It's sitting around like 38K. And he says here, the question is, we may have to retest it again. So there's a pretty good chance the market usually likes to test support. And after that, we should see that increase. So he's basically saying that Bitcoin would have to dip down more before shooting up. Bitcoin is trading at 36,767 at the time of writing. So when this article was written. And let's see, it says the Celsius Network head says that after testing the critical support level, Bitcoin could follow past precedents and surge by around 4 times from current levels. If Bitcoin does what it did last time, it should go at least 300% up from here. 3 multiplied by 35,000 puts us just over $100,000. So this is a bullish projection here by Alex. He is saying that Bitcoin may dip down a little bit before doing at least a 3 to 4x. My projection for this year stays what I said late last year, and it's $140,000 to $160,000 before the end of this year. So again, a very bullish projection, and this is based off of what Bitcoin has done in the past. Now, you often hear in this space that what an asset has done in the past isn't, you can't really go off of that for future reference. But, when people try to analyze different assets, they do look at what was done in the past and what that asset has done. And then they say that, it'll probably perform similarly to what it did in the past. So if Bitcoin did do what it did in the past, then we're looking at a 3 to 4x within this year. So that's very bullish news, and hopefully we do see that. But you can't always go off of last year, or not last year, off of the past, but that's what analysts tend to look at. For Ethereum, he says, in the case of Ethereum, Mashinsky says that the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap could hit a new all-time high later this year or early 2023 as the ecosystem expands and the adoption rate rises. I expect Ethereum prices to go to the $6,000 to $7,000 level. I think the highest it got to was 4,800, but I think we're going to break through that later this year, maybe beginning of next year. And that's because of the use cases, the number of applications running on Ethereum continues to grow, and adoption continues to grow. So I definitely agree with this projection as well. Ethereum's adoption and use cases, that does continue to grow. There are several, or just dozens or hundreds of applications running on Ethereum right now, and that continues to expand as well. I just think that Ethereum, like I said before and in the past, Ethereum just needs to work on their scaling issues, and they need to find a way to allow people to transact on their network at a cheaper rate. So they really need to work on their gas fees and just allowing more transactions per second. Once they do that, then I definitely think that Ethereum's price will soar and just go through the roof. So, but that's again all on if they can update properly. And there should be an update coming later this year. I think they pushed it back to either April or I think either March or April of this year. We should see Ethereum's upgrade. But once they do upgrade, and hopefully it's successful, I think that we will see definitely new all-time highs for Ethereum. So that's the news for Bitcoin and Ethereum's price predictions for later this year. That's very bullish, and I do hope that we see those prices. Last but not least, we have some metaverse news. Metaverse crypto, the Sandbox, announces partnership with world-renowned music label. Gaming altcoin, the Sandbox, is unveiling a joint metaverse venture with one of the biggest music labels in the world. In a new blog post, land-focused virtual reality crypto, the Sandbox, says that it's partnering up with the world-famous Warner Music Group to create the first ever music-themed world within the metaverse. So that sounds pretty cool. Warner purchased what is equivalent to beachfront property as an endgame estate, which they plan on turning into a hybrid of a musical theme park and a concert venue for Warner's vast array of leading musical artists to perform for and interact with their fans. So this partnership is I think is very bullish for the metaverse cryptocurrency. I said in a previous video that the Sandbox cryptocurrency and other cryptocurrencies that are metaverse tokens, their price will appreciate as the economy grows. So as Sandbox continues to partner with different people and different businesses and more users get into the space and they either purchase digital real estate and start doing something within it, it just brings more users onto the Sandbox ecosystem. And as more people use Sandbox's ecosystem, the price of the token will continue to rise because there's more use cases and more utility with it. So this sounds like something that's pretty cool. Hopefully that this is successful, and whatever they do with it, it says they're creating a music themed world within the metaverse. So maybe you have different musical artists that get on board as well, and maybe their music is only put in the metaverse, and when people either play their games in Sandbox or whatever, you kind of hear the music, or maybe they do a live performance. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but this is bullish news for anyone that invests in Sandbox. This next article says it's basically talking about the same thing. It says sand adoption booms. Traders decided to increase their exposure to sand after the Sandbox announced partnership with American rapper Snoop Dogg and Warner Music, a major record label. So not only did Sand do a partnership with Warner Music, but they also did a partnership with Snoop Dogg. So for those that don't know, Snoop Dogg is actually very, very plugged in to cryptocurrencies and into the metaverse and into NFTs. One of the things I like about Snoop Dogg is that even though he's like an OG in the music world, he doesn't just limit himself, or he doesn't just stick to one thing. He released a couple albums. One was a reggae album, and then he also released a gospel album. And I didn't listen to either of those albums, and I don't really listen to Snoop Dogg that much anymore, but I am glad. And one of the things I like about him is that, like, although he's like a rapper, he's not afraid to try new things. So those two albums that I mentioned, they're completely different genres from his normal rap music that he does, but he's always trying to reinvent himself, always trying to do something different. And we see that here where he is into the metaverse. And it also says here on January 27th, Snoop Dogg tweeted a teaser of what appeared to be his upcoming NFT collection, dubbed the Snoop Avatars. The rapper further hinted that his avatars would come as a part of the Sandbox metaverse. So he's like deep into the space here, and he's about to release his own NFT collection. And if for those looking at the screen, you can kind of see here that his profile picture on Twitter is kind of like an NFT picture here, or probably one of his Snoop avatars, I'm assuming. So good for him, good for Sandbox, and good for the metaverse space having such a well-known rapper and famous person in the space that's actually doing something. And yeah, hopefully this just continues to drive adoption for the metaverse. See if there's anything else here to pull out. Says later that day, the Sandbox announced that it would create a music themed park and concert venue within its metaverse with the help of Warner Music. In doing so, the gaming project noted that the Warner Music artists would virtually engage with their fans and generate real revenue streams. So it even is lucrative for the artists. Like, they're able to engage with fans and actually make money off of this. So we see some real world utility here within the metaverse. So this is very cool. I do hope that it is a success and that they get well-known artists that are actually pretty good, aside from Snoop Dogg, to be active in this space and to put out music. So that wraps it up for this video. I do hope that I said something that brought some value to your lives. If I did, please leave a like, a comment, or a subscription if you're not already subscribed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.